large-scale land acquisitions by foreign governments and corporations in Africa is being billed a new land grab by human rights organizations. Large tracts of land are being bought or leased by American and European companies to raise biofuel crops or for production of cash crops for export rather than feeding Africa's hungry nations. Osisa says since the food price spikes of 2008, demand for land has grown as international investors look for agricultural profits and land to trade for a profit. James Murombedzi, a fellow of the Open Society Foundation, says when land is leased in this way, it is often to the detriment of the local people.
And in 1923, the Firestone Rubber Corporation in fact concessioned 1 million hectares of that land from the Liberian government for purposes of producing rubber. The impact of that land concession was that by the 1960s, after the Second World War and all of the expansion in the use of rubber and so on, by the 1960s, Liberia was the second fastest growing economy in the world after Japan. Liberia actually remained as the poorest society in the world even in the 1960s. And in fact, this led to the development of the concept of growth without development. For those of you who studied economics, you will be familiar with that concept, growth without development. So the economy in Liberia was growing at a rate of about 11-12% per annum, but there was no development.
Timothy Wise, Director of the Research and Policy Program at the Global Development and Environment Institute at Tufts University, says large-scale acquisition of land in Africa and other developing countries needs to be better regulated to ensure that agricultural investment contributes to food security for the region.
Desperate communities, they give up some of the villages give up some of their common lands and some of their private lands for very small compensation in the hopes that this project will actually deliver those things. There's nothing in the governance structure that actually guarantees that those things are delivered. And there's actually nothing in the economic structure that guarantees that the projects are successful economically. Well, if food security is actually the goal, why don't you just give some good land to people who want to grow food, which is the poor? And in fact, if they're also the hungry, and the majority of the hungry in the world are farmers, why don't you just give that good land to hungry farmers?
I'm Osisa reporting for Business Day and Financial Mail.